Ezio's Orb Down signature is one out of 6 special moves on his unique kit. It's pretty innocent on the surface. Ezio jumps vertically, pulls out his hidden dagger, and slams into the ground. It even has a variant for when you do it off the stage. As for the attack itself, it's a spike. That isn't all that special, but it is the only spiking signature that he has on his orb kit, which does give Ezio a little bit more versatility in his offstage. Honestly, looking at the move, it seems pretty solid. It's supposed to be a well-rounded mix-up option that can spike people on the ledge from center stage. The height from the jump can even be gravity cancelled to make it back onto the ledge and get your options back. I mean, come on, there's no way this move is the worst attack in the game. Wait, no. Okay, maybe this move has some problems. The first thing to note about this move is it is unfortunately slow, taking 34 frames, or roughly half a second, for the move to come out after you press the button. And while this isn't the deal breaker for the move, it is the first of many unfortunate circumstances that end up making this move obsolete. While people outside of fighting games might not see half a second as a long time, that is more than enough time for your opponent to catch you in the act and punish your attempt at edgeguard. What makes this even worse is that Ezio puts himself directly into the opponent's face when using his down sig, making the whiff punish much easier for the opponent, which can range from a simple neutral air to getting your stock taken. The problem with this is that Ezio gains almost no reward for the slow startup, as when you see a move with slow startup, you expect that move to really pack a punch, which isn't the case for Ezio, as not only is the force lower than expected, but a move that comes out in almost half the time ends up killing earlier than the move with more commitment. But there is a bright side. This move recovers way faster than most people would expect, meaning unless you're nose to nose with your opponent, you can actually get some interactions where your opponent thinks they have time to hit you, only for you to swing back even harder. But once players start getting better at understanding punish game, it does become less and less likely these kind of interactions will happen. Alright, we got one down, let's get on with the rest.
How the fuck? This move actually sucks. Are you kidding me? Huh? Yeah, because that's fair.
When people talk about hitboxes in Brawlhalla, the conversation is normally around the ones that are bigger than anticipated, which in most cases also comes with a lot of complaining.
I'm not pushing, right? Oh my god!
With Ezio, however, it's the opposite. While most of his signatures are pretty balanced with their hitboxes, not being too big or too small, Ezio's Orb Down sig doesn't fit up to this standard. And to prove that fact, I'll make a comparison. This is Lucian's Guitar Down sig, and it's a pretty good move. It comes out faster and recovers quickly, and is able to spike people on the ledge. It even has a similar trajectory to Ezio, just without the same vertical height. Now turning hitboxes on and looking at it again, we can see it has an extremely good hitbox at catching people on ledge, and leaves almost no way for Lucian to get hit if someone is recovering back to the stage. But now we get to the bad part, because if we do the same thing for Ezio's down sig, we get a disappointing result. I mean, come on, half of the hitbox is inside his body. Not only that, but this hitbox specifically is at the lowest point of his active descent, meaning it's unfortunately going to be the one you have to hit most often to get those edgeguarding situations, which in most cases, like I stated previously, won't even have enough force to kill. It doesn't get much better when you realize Ezio's biggest hitbox, the one he has at the start of the move, is only active when Ezio is above the stage, meaning the safest hitbox his down sig has can't even be used for the purpose the move was supposed to fulfill. So when you're already below the stage with the dipshit hitbox, all it takes is a simple recovery to get back onto the stage. In fact, the hitbox on Hammer and Lance's recovery is so far away from the user that D-Sig is effectively useless at stopping these recoveries from getting back. But that's not the only problem with this hitbox, oh I wish. Because of Ezio's small ass hitbox, it requires extremely precise positioning to actually hit someone on the wall. Because if you overstep by just a hair, the entire move will completely whiff. But that's not all, because undershooting it by just a hair will cause Ezio's down sig to get caught on the corner, fully negating any offstage momentum and completely missing the move. Again, you have to space this in the middle of a match from this far away. When I'm playing a game, I don't want to play Goldilocks and the Three Bears when I'm just trying to hit a move, especially one that's supposed to be good at edgeguarding situations. But wait, cause somehow it gets worse. I don't know how, but it gets worse. Remember that little clip at the beginning of this segment? Well, that clip was on one of Ezio's crossover skins, Darth Vader, who, despite looking really cool and having some really nice animations, has a down sig animation that looks nothing like the hitbox it's attached to. There have been arguments for the longest time about if crossovers are pay to win, and while I definitely think that argument stands, I don't think I've ever seen somebody talk about a pay to suffer crossover, because I don't want to pay $20 for a crossover that's gonna make me question something every time I go for a move. I really can't emphasize how many times I've done a double take when I go for a down sig that looks just in line to hit, but completely misses my target. I mean, what the fuck am I even playing for? I hate this shit! Okay, calm down. Okay, calm down. That's fine. That still can't make it the worst move in the game.
Did you also know it can't be slide charged?
Oh, come on! So out of the 402 heavy attacks in the game as of making this video, 368 of them allow for slide charging in some capacity. Whether that be normally, with an active hitbox, with a split charge, or anything in between. Although some signatures only allow you to slide charge in one direction and not the other, but the fact these signatures can still be slide charged in some way keeps them on this list, which leaves 34 signatures as non-slide chargeable. Signatures which put characters in a unique animation that stops them from being able to slide charge. And Ezio's Orb Down Sig is one of those lucky few. Except, this isn't a good thing. And problems start arising once you realize what Ezio's Orb Down Sig is supposed to be. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it's a spiking signature, and one of the main qualities of a spiking signature is its ability to slide charge. Because without the ability to slide charge, you end up losing situations like this.
It's going to be the gauntlets. Neutral air to GC Inlight, hoping to send over. You saw him go down off stage. There's the Inlight on the main stage. It's starting. Does he find it? No way!
The reason this loss of slide charging doesn't affect most of the other moves is because the unique animations either give you more range in the air when charging it, or the signatures themselves are reliable enough on their own to not make losing slide charging a big deal. Ezio's unique animation, however, is neither, as not only do you lose slide charging, but you also barely get any benefit from charging this sig at all. While yes, it does do more damage and does KO earlier, it's practically impossible to put that to use when you're stuck in the same spot for almost a full second, giving even the most mediocre of opponents possibly the easiest punish of their lives. In fact, the only situations I've found for charging Ezio down sig is to either delay your inevitable demise, or if your opponent is dense enough to run into it without thinking. But this isn't the end of our problems, because after realizing you can't slide charge down sig, you might think you can solve that issue by going down yourself and gravity canceling into the wall. Yeah, well, good fucking luck. Yeah, so because of the way Ezio's down sig is horizontal from his actual collision box, the first and biggest part of the move will completely miss anybody on the wall, even if they're projected to actually get hit by it. Now, for most of the recently released Legends, this has been fixed by giving signatures a wall variation, which makes sure the hitbox doesn't phase into the wall. But Ezio just doesn't get this treatment apparently, which to me is really strange, because wall variations have been in the game since Valve's release back in 2016, and you're telling me you couldn't have given him a wall variation to avoid this from happening? It just doesn't make sense. But, alright, fine. Throughout all of this research, it's very apparent that Ezio's down sig isn't the best offensively. So, why don't we just use it as a recovery move? Yeah, good luck getting away with it more than once. See, a big problem with using this to recover is that you fully waste your dodge when coming back to the stage. And while this is true for every gravity cancel, most signatures that are used to recover have a hitbox above their head that keep people at bay from trying to edgeguard them. Ezio says fuck that and just slashes back onto the stage anyway, leaving Ezio without a dodge and no reliable way to retaliate. So while this signature can be used to recover, it can also become actively detrimental to your game once you start using it more than once. So, what remains is a move that is easily reactable, can't be slide charged, has a terribly small hitbox, unnecessarily precise to edgeguard with, can't hit people when G-Sing into the wall, loses to 2 whole recoveries no matter what the user does, and has deceptive animations on crossovers you have to pay $20 for. I really wish I had an option on my kit that was way faster, way more reliable, way safer, had way less drawbacks, and was just undoubtedly a better option than Orb Down Sig could ever be or ever would be. Oh wait! Orb Dare, contender for best dare in the game, can do almost everything Ezio's Orb Down Sig can, but better. Wanna edgeguard? Orb Dare. Wanna play safe? Orb Dare. Wanna beat Lance Recovery? Reverse Orb Dare. This thing plays literally every role you could want, while also recovering insanely fast and coming out even faster. The reason this is so detrimental isn't just because Orb Dare is better, but because everyone who is facing an Orb player is gonna want to stay out of that diagonal range. The same diagonal range that Ezio Orb Down Sig covers, meaning, despite not even being used, Orb Dare still hinders Orb Down Sig's utility just by being a threat. The reason signatures like Ram and Axe Down Sig or Valsword Side Sig are so feared is because they cover an area that the normal Axe or Sword kit simply cannot cover as quickly, meaning they are always a looming threat even when they aren't being used. Ezio's Orb Down Sig, however, covers an area that the regular Orb kit already covers way faster and way safer, making this move both unreliable and almost completely useless. And even after all of that, if you still don't believe me, did I mention that this move has only been hit once in tournament? No, I'm not joking. It's right there. Look, on stage in pure white with nothing else to come of it. Seriously, are you kidding me? In the 2.5 years this thing has been out, nobody has hit it besides one person? Are you kidding